welcome to another installment of Salem by Night. My name is Will. I will be your storyteller for tonight, and we have a very special occasion tonight as we start our Anarch storyline in earnest. Last we left off with our West Salem chapter of Salem by Night. We were following the exploits of one Nicole Lillian Claremont, and hopefully we were going to follow the events of Jane Arwen as she made her way across the barony that has become West Salem. Unfortunately, things have taken a turn for the worse as the coterie of the Camarilla game has come to learn that there are hunters in Salem. What they were doing here, because two of them are dead now, is anybody's guess. But as the world continues to turn and things have come to a head, this group is going to be your eyes and ears into what is happening on the other side of the river. And with that, I think let's get into meeting this pair. We have Erickson Wood, a Bruja, who comes from the Bible Belt, and we have Mustang Breck, a Simitsi, who comes from the East Coast, Boston in particular. Excuse me. Kenny, we're going to start with you since we left you kind of abruptly in the thralls of the embrace.
Okay.
You come to just after that very excuse me, that very wild moment where you met your sire, and there is something warm in your gullet, in your mouth. There's traces of it on your lips. Your hands are starting to cool, and as you look down, you can see the telltale crimson kind of fingertips of blood on both of your hands. The focus of your sight starts to come to, and beneath you is the body of your wife.
Okay. And so I come to see that. It's obviously all over me as well, right? My whole shirt, my whole body.
Yes.
Blood or just my hands?
It is just on your hands. You can feel it trickling down your chin. And as you're kind of coming to realizing that you're in your house, you smell the perfume of somebody else, somebody that is not your wife.
Okay. Is that person in the room?
Yeah. Immediately, as you kind of start to look around and you come into a kind of crouched position, you sit up into an awaiting hand that just kind of reassuringly pats you on the top of your left shoulder. It's all right, Mr. Wood. The first step is always the hardest.
First step? What do you mean?
And you feel the hand kind of slither under your armpit, and this female helps you stand up. And for a bit, your legs are wobbly. Your wife is sitting there dead at your feet. The experience of this sensation, this new burning in the pit of your stomach, sets you kind of wondering. You have a new kind of sensation of this is not normal.
Right. Yeah, because I should be in shock of what just is
Mm-hmm.
happening in front of me,
Yep.
but that's not what I'm feeling.
Not at all. The only thing that as you look down to kind of verify that it is your wife, because her throat is just this uh, blackened red kind of gashed wound of where you fed. You just hear this very calm, almost reminiscent of a priest in Sunday school. And you just hear it. Oh, she was surely delicious, as the Lord has provided for you, so too will you provide for him. This is the way of our things now.
And that's a voice I hear in my head.
Yeah, that's a voice that, although I've given you words and sentences, it is more feeling. It is much more abstract in nature, and you can feel that it is closely tied to that new hunger, that new thirst that kind of burns at the back of your throat, that the blood is quenching.
As all like literally, this is all just hitting me in the face all at once.
Yeah.
I turn to try to focus on the person that actually is lifting me up.
Yeah.
I smelled that perfume before, obviously.
It is it is the exact perfume you smelled in the parking lot when she attacked you. And as she kind of helps you to your feet, she kind of pats you on the back to make sure that you're okay. And she walks back over to the island in your kitchen, where she is standing over the open Bible, the one half, the Old Testament being carved out and showing the gun to you, and her kind of having dog-eared some passages in the New Testament.
Who the hell are you? And what is going on?
Mr. Wood, everything will be explained to you. You've made some very, very powerful enemies, unfortunately, and so I've chosen the lesser of two evils for you. I apologize. I could rectify this for you if you'd like, although that would require the same fate befalling you that has befallen your wife. I think you and I both know that your self-preservation is much higher than even you give yourself credit for.
I look down at what's left of my wife, and I realize that it was me that did this, and not her.
Yeah.
What am I exactly?
Oh, my dear Mr. Wood, you are now what you've always wanted to be, the apex predator. You are the thing that is going to change the world moving forward. And not in this petty, trite manner that you've professed. And as she pushes the Bible forward, she pulls the gun out and then closes the book, and you immediately have that image of the cross on the front, and you're repelled by it.
Yeah, I start stepping back and almost tripping over my wife.
Yeah.
And the first thing I want to do is get out of the clothes that I'm in, and immediately start thinking about trying to get rid of what has just happened. Like, at this point, I'm in panic mode.
Yeah.
So I just start taking off the shirt and the pants that I currently have and run into my closet.
Yep.
Look, I have no idea who you are. I don't know what this all is. I don't know how you got into my house. I don't even know how I got here. I'm just trying to sort this all out right now.
She very calmly, she follows you And you don't understand how anyone could be as calm as they are given the situation. Like, there's a dead body sitting there on the floor that they've probably seen you kill. Like, they're a witness to this horrible crime. And as she steps with you to your bedroom, she says, Mr. Wood, clearly this is not my first rodeo. But I appreciate that you have the wherewithal to get out of the clothes that could incriminate you. Please gather up some of your belongings, as much money as you have hidden around, because I know you're that kind of person, given the cavity in the holiest of holy books that you carry around. And I will start to prepare the house for its burning.
I stop, and I'm still feeling the change that's going on in my body, obviously.
Yeah.
And I reach into my pocket to see if the rosary is still in there.
It is. And as you kind of pull your hand over the beads and you get to the cross, the second your hand touches the cross, it stings. There is that voice of being cast out and having that feeling of being almost a mirror of Lucifer. The heaven you knew is gone.
I can see the image of the book, right?
It's in a different room. It's back in the kitchen.
I immediately, I obviously drop the rosary onto the floor.
Okay.
Apex predator.
Yeah. Yes.
And I realize that the repelling is coming from the fact that it's a cross.
Yeah.
My mind is starting now to put two and two together.
There is a heavy Christian guilt that has washed over you.
Just for a second. So you're telling me, and I'm doing this as I'm just grabbing a suitcase that I have in there, and I'm just stuffing anything that is clothes.
Yeah.
Just where are you gonna take me now? And you're burning this house down?
Yes, of course. You will have to obviously call someone and let them know that you have an alibi, of course, that I will verify for you to make sure that you are not anywhere near the house when it goes up in flames, so you have some semblance of being the widower you're going to profess yourself to be moving forward.
I start contemplating. Okay. I go to the telephone that's in the kitchen, and I get towards the cross. I get towards the book, and it's obviously repelling me. So I'm walking. I have to walk around it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see more and more now. I grab the phone and I'm calling Madeline, my wife's sister.
Okay. She obviously picks up. It's a little late. It's after 11, so she was kind of groggy, and she picks up. She's like, "Hello, how can I help you?"
Madeline, hey, it's Erickson. Hi.
Eric, what's going on?
Look, I wouldn't be bothering you at this time. It's just Patricia's having one of those moods again. We're got into a huge fight. It's over the kid. About children, and it's gotten huge to the point that now she's just literally threw 2 bags at me and told me to get out the house. And look, I had no other place to go to. Is there any way that I can meet up at your place, at least for the night, to let her cool off?
Yeah. I'll tell Peter to prepare the sofa bed.
thank you. Like, she's a little wild.
Yeah.
I, I'm actually, she kind of scared me for a second there. So I'm just gonna give her space,
Is,
and
is she around? Do you want me to talk to her?
no, she's actually, I don't know how I broke into the kitchen through the side, and just so that I can get in to call, because is she locked the front door. It's a huge mess. I just, uh, if you want, I'll leave a note for her so that she can call you in the morning, just to let her know where I'm at. So I'm just gonna let her cool down.
Okay. Okay. I'll see you when you get here then. And she hangs up.
Thank you.
The the woman who, now that you are kind of gathering your wits about you, you notice is thin and lithe and just this elegant creature. Wild black hair, light kind of bluish eyes, blue green eyes, and this very kind of angular face that makes you think of almost Bela Lugosi's Dracula. And as she saunters into the room, you see that she slams the rosary down, and you can hear the crack of not just the rosary, but the actual marble top of this island. And as she as she laughs at the idea of you having been religious, even as a scam, and she grabs the front of the Bible and she just tears the cover in an angle that is very reminiscent of the broken cross that now sits on your rosary. And you see that some of the beads have shattered and crumbled to dust in her forceful kind of slamming of the hand. And now that there's a broken cross on the Bible and there's a broken cross on the rosary, it doesn't hurt to look upon them anymore. The image of what they stood for, whole, the idea of religion and the Holy Spirit, has left them, has left you. And now for the first time, you see the indentation, the kind of tiny crater that this meaty palm has carved into your marble island top. That's a kind of strength that someone with her figure shouldn't have.
I look up towards her and I walk very, very slowly.
Yeah.
And I reach over to grab the rosary. And as I put it into my pocket, I look at her and I go, "You're not from this world." And apparently, I'm no longer part of what I used to be. Is that right?
You and I, Mr. Wood, are something much more primordial now. And you see that she grabs the gun and she holds it up to the palm of her hand, of her left hand, and there's the deafening thunder crack of it going off in such a small confinement. You find that you've fired a gun before. You're used to what it sounds like. There's something new in your ears that makes it so much louder than before. There's a keenness that you haven't had since maybe you were out of high school and into college. And you see that there is the hole of, the 38 caliber bullet going straight through. And as she holds it up to you, you can see the actual fibers of her musculature re-knitting itself together, and the wound begins to close. And she smiles at you, and you see the fangs start to elongate, just like they did when she bit into you in that parking structure. And she puts the gun down, and she extends her right hand to you, and she says, "Mr. Wood, my name is Elizabeth Barrister, and I am your creator." This is where we switch over to Mustang, who has left Boston behind. It has now been 3 years, and you're starting to settle into life in Salem. Nikolai is not a terrible person once you get to know him. He is cold, calculating, and greedy. But you see that there is a warmth there that shines very rarely. Like, he treats you almost like property, insofar as you are his creation. You are his child, and you owe your unlife to him. But he also knows that you're a person, and he does treat you as such. It's a very different relationship than with your previous employer. How do you think Mustang has gotten used to this unlife? What is a typical evening in her life now?
Well, I would assume a typical evening, she's probably doing stuff for Nikolai, right?
Mm-hmm. And he does teach you.
Yeah.
He is teaching you how to use your abilities. But that is kind of like the first 2 hours of the night is spent on that. And then he kind of lets you do your thing while he attends to business.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think she enjoys the most? Does she enjoy this new lifestyle?
I think she does.
Mm-hmm.
I think she likes the power of it. The strength.
Yeah.
The strength of it, particularly.
You've chosen to have dominate as your highest discipline. What do you think that says about her, that she wants to control other people's minds?
I guess maybe that she doesn't want to be powerless.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants to be the one in control. She has all this strength now.
Yeah.
That's conceivably possible for her. Where she hasn't been, in her life.
Yeah. There is talk, now that you're here in Salem, there's been some talk of the whole Camarilla and the prince kind of lacking in strength, and the more time you spend with Nikolai, the more you see that the Camarilla is just this kind of governing body that is helping itself more than anything else. It is not a thing that is in anyone's benefit except whoever is part of like the ruling council or in the favor of said council. As we get to 1980 and you are becoming much more independent. You're no longer having your lessons with Nikolai. There's a moment where everything changes. There's a lot of chatter coming in about northern Egypt being ground zero for something terrible. And for an entire week and beyond that, there is just the most abysmal news coming, and there is talk that an antediluvian has awoken in the deserts of Egypt and has come claiming the end of the world. But it is 1980, and as you wake up the next evening, the world still turns. And there finally, after some time, news comes of this primordial creature, this monster of biblical strength and terror having been destroyed. And everything has changed. There's a little bit of boldness to everybody's step, and Nikolai especially is a little bit concerned. You've come to know that Nikolai is old. So much so that there are things that he talks about that you're not sure if it's something that he's learned or if it's something that he experienced firsthand. And as the repercussions of this antediluvian being destroyed start to spread out like a virus from what was the cradle of life once, it has now become the pit of a cesspool of a viral whirlpool that has seemed to summon the elders of Kindred society. And in the span of maybe a week, which is a blink of an eye really to someone like you now, elders have disappeared and left huge power vacuums in cities that were contested, that were claimed, and in some that were downright down to the wire. And Salem is no different. Salem lost its prince overnight. And in his place, a Toreador who was not even on his Primogen Council, who had nothing going for her except a couple of shops in the city and just the knowledge of having the right friends in the right place, has put herself in charge of Salem. And this, you've come to know, is Geraldine Birmingham. And her and Nikolai have been at odds since this happened. He believes that someone better suited could have served the city better. But her rise to power has put her in a very difficult position to deal with. And although she is not someone that rules with the strength that comes with the undead power of the blood, she has chosen a council of Primogen that are not opposed to doing that on her behalf. So much so that she has the unwritten rule is, if you don't like it, you can go across the river, and West Salem has become a kind of haven for the misbegotten and those that do not play by the Camarilla rules. Unfortunately, West Salem is also closer to the mountain ranges and the forests, and so it is much more susceptible to patrols from lupines. But that's relegated to the outskirts of the city, of that part of the city, rather. The anarchs, as they've become known, which you have fallen into, have taken over West Salem, are small by comparison to the vampires that control Salem proper. There is maybe a fraction of the vampires, and although you lack numbers, you've seen some of them firsthand because of your dealings with Nikolai. Nikolai happens to be one of the few people that everyone comes to. And it's because he himself has amassed quite a empire of not items per se, but knowledge. He knows much more than he lets on, and one of his lessons has always been information has a price. And never forget that you are always bartering, regardless of where you are and who you're talking to. But it is the evening of April 30th, the last April of the year. The last day in April. It is a Monday night. It is 1984, and you, you, Michelle, are being introduced to a few people that have been called together, and given your history with Nikolai, these people are not coming for a dinner party. This is a who's who of contacts and specialities that really could turn the tide of any fight, let alone what's going on here in Salem. It has been rather quiet the last 4 years since Geraldine has taken over, and everyone is kind of content with what's happened. West Salem does not have terrible hunting grounds. People can get their rocks off. And it's easy enough to find some neutral territory across the river. The riverfront itself is kind of considered neutral territory from the bridge northward. The bridge southward is the old town Salem, and so it's a little bit more heavily guarded by a Camarilla presence. But you guys are meeting in a rundown kind of warehouse. It is definitely not the kind of place that Nikolai would choose. And so, as you arrive first with him, you notice that there is a woman that you haven't been introduced to. You know who she is by reputation, but you don't know anything about her whatsoever, other than she is someone with the money to make change effective in Salem. This is Yvette Morrison. She is a Toreador, which is the clan of the Rose. And you have heard Nikolai refer to her as Ivy in the past. There is no real warmth in their introductions, like they have the French double cheek kiss, but there's nothing friendly about it. It is very much just a kind of courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
And as he steps aside, he motions for you to step forward, and as he does that, he kind of smiles. He's like, "This is my childer. Her name is Mustang Brick. She has been under my wing for some time, and I feel like she could be useful to you in this endeavor that is going to happen, which you have gathered us here for. I hope that you understand what this means by me giving her as openly as I do Miss Morrison." And she nods. There is a very cold face to her when she's speaking to him, but almost imperceptibly, the second she turns to look at you, there is a warm smile on her face. Like she understands what it is to be a woman, and what it must be like to be a woman underneath Nikolai.
Mm-hmm.
But she does smile at you, and there is, even if you think it's false, there is something warm about it, and it slowly starts to melt away and become cold again. But she looks at you, she's like, "It is a pleasure to meet you. I am sure that you will do great things if your lineage is as pure as Nikolai professes. Please, have a seat."
She says.
Yep. Yeah, he does. Once she allows it, you see that he does sit.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do I know what this meeting is about?
You know that Yvette Morrison is gathering people. She's gathering a small group of people. She's calling in favors, basically. And from what Nikolai has told you, he is hoping excuse me, he's hoping that you can help out in some way, shape, or form so that it earns not just you favor, but it earns him some favors in return.
Okay, so I know that this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he's like renting me out.
Oh yeah.
Basically.
Oh yeah. He has made no qualms and hidden no fact of the whole situation, where it's like, you're going to bring great honor to the lineage, or you are going to meet the sun at some point.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming I have to agree. I don't have a choice in the matter.
I mean, you do have a choice, but the choice is the sunlight.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is one of the few times where the dragon comes out in him, where it's just like he almost never forces you to do anything unless it's something that's gonna better the situation that you both are in. More him than anybody else. He has given you kind of free reign for the most part. Like he's allowed you to live with him in his estate, and things like that. You can come and go as you want. You have access to a car, but he's also kind of giving you the stipulation that if he ever tells you to do something, that his word is law.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, the next one to arrive is a woman who looks like a small, petite, kind of meek little thing of just this bobblehead of red hair and very kind of demure curves, and yet as she kind of comes into the warehouse, sees you, and makes her way over to you, her walk, her gait just screams predator to you. It's something that you haven't seen since you were working with the old crew. And as she comes over, Nikolai stands up almost the second she crosses within an imaginary line of like 30 or 40 feet. Like the second she gets within what is considered like gentlemanly, he immediately gets up out of his seat, offers it to her as he goes and grabs another one for himself, and she kind of smiles curtly at him, holds her hand up, and then goes over, and you see that there's a little bit warmer embrace between her and Yvette. And the woman kind of turns around to the rest of you, and she looks over at you in particular. She's like, "You I have not met. My name is Kamila Barovka. Am I to assume that you are the childer of this old man?" And she kind of smiles as she throws the title out at Nikolai.
I am.
It's interesting. I hope you are better suited than his last one, then.
Ooh, do I know who that was?
He does not speak of it other than to tell you that he was a failure of a child. He hates his first childer. And from what he's mentioned, it's almost mutual.
So I don't know if they're still alive or...
No.
Okay.
Like he hopes he's dead, because he did teach him the ways of the dragon. But such is the chess game of vampires.
Do I know anything about Ivy and this Camilla?
Ivy, has been in Salem almost since its founding. And Ivy was one of the primogen for the previous prince. She was the Toreador seat. And when Geraldine took over, she exiled Ivy.
So we're meeting with people that vampires that have been exiled.
You're assuming, yeah, that they're going to be members that aren't down with OPP, as far as the Camarilla is concerned.
Yeah.
The next one that comes in is a kind of leather leather-colored man with just this cracked skin of sun-kissed joy that must have been his life before he turned into a vampire. And as he saunters in, there is a whistle on his lips, and he is just kind of the exact opposite image of Nikolai. Like he is happy, he is warm, he comes over, he kisses everyone on the cheeks, including you, or he tries to, at least.
No.
Yeah.
She pulls away.
Yeah. And seeing that, you see him kind of back away and hold his hand up to his heart, and he's like, I apologize if I overstepped boundaries. Forgive me.
I don't say anything.
Yeah. But he looks over at Nikolai, and he kind of nods at him. It's like, she looks better than... and he clears his throat. And goes, yes, of course. One must not speak ill of the dead. Signora, my name is Daniori Bartley Gray. I'm at your service. It is a pleasure to finally meet this childer of the old man. He has spoken highly of his expectations. And with a nod, he goes over, grabs a chair, and brings it into the circle.
What's his name again? One more time.
Daniori Bartley Gray. He should be in the people of note. The last one to arrive is a woman, also thin of frame, but a kind of semblance of wildness. Black hair, light eyes, and just this very kind of powerful walk as she is followed by a kind of older, taller, plumper gentleman. If you would like to both describe yourselves to each other, since this is the first time you are meeting.
Ladies first.
Man. So she's tall, she's thin. She's got like brown, like burnt sienna skin. She's Middle Eastern. She's got very long black flowing hair. Just like visual description, right?
Yeah.
She wears like black everything. A black cloak, black pants, black everything. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, Erickson has darkish brown hair. It, minus the fact that he has grays already through the sides, kind of like Reeve Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Right now, at this moment, he has a very kept goatee. Nothing too. You can tell that it's meticulously shaven, so that it literally it looks all like one point. Dark is as far as for his stature, he walks upright with his shoulders back. He has a very confident look into his walk, even though he walks very, very slowly behind his sire. Does have a stomach, does have a gut, and he tries to hide it as much as he can with the jacket that he's wearing. Loves to wear. He's wearing his. He always wears a jacket over himself. He kind of feels like if it's gonna be in a. He's trying to look good This is a first impression for a group of people there.
Like a suit jacket.
Yeah, suit jacket. I don't want to say tweed. That's not in style. So
Yeah.
he's very. It's a very dark red crimson.
Yeah,
Almost.
he's not a professor or anything.
Nah.
Yeah,
No.
he's not looking for
That's
Atlantis.
that's not the life he chose. That's not the life he chose.
Yeah, no.
He chose a better life. So as he continues, what you do notice is that he holds a book in his hand. You could tell that the front cover of the book has been ripped through, at least part of it. And with the only thing that's really noticeable about it is just gilded leaf pages from the actual book that he's holding. And literally, I'm just scanning the room right now, trying to see if I know anybody that's in here.
Yeah, you personally have not met any single person in this room, except your sire. And as she steps into the group, she gives everyone a kind of a handshake, except for Nikolai and Mustang. Like, she kind of just nods in your direction, and you notice that Nikolai kind of nods back.
I take a cue from that. I look at Nikolai.
Yep.
And I do not more of a bow of my head than a nod.
Yep.
And I look over at Mustang. I give a smirk, nod my head.
Yep. Yeah. So
this is the only acceptable hello that she has encountered. So she is. It's true. Everyone's coming up to her trying to, shake her hands and everything. So, she politely nods to both his sire and him.
Yep. Sure enough, there's a moment where once your sire Kenny goes and grabs chairs for the both of you, she sits down, and at this point, Nikolai stands up, and he's like, Miss Morrison, you have gathered us here. This looks like a clandestine group of people. What exactly is all of this for? And as he says that, you see the new woman who walked in, who has yet to introduce herself to you, Mustang. She kind of looks over and she's like, is this it? Are we not expecting anyone else? And Yvette shakes her head, and she motions for Nikolai to sit down. She does. You notice that he gives her a lot of respect, and he hasn't shown that to anyone else in front of you. But she stands up, and she kind of looks over the room, and it's a huge warehouse for this small group of people. Like, this could have easily been handled in the back room of like an IHOP.
It's just comically large.
Yeah. And all of you are in the center of this large building.
So it makes it look even bigger.
Yeah.
So the way in, it's like you have to actually walk.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like forever.
Yeah.
To get to the center.
Oh, so let me ask you then, if that's the case, as we were walking in, was I able to see any interaction with other people as they were walking in as well?
No. Your sire would have been the last on purpose. Like, she is the kind of person that does want to stake out everything. So you would have seen them all kind of walking in. Everybody that has arrived has either had a driver or an upscale car that they've brought. There is a lot of money in this room, just from the little bit that you've seen.
No, it doesn't. So few people, but it's a lot of political power in here.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay, I can at least gather that information.
yeah, easily. Yvette stands up, and there's a hint of her French that I hope I haven't destroyed with all the other accents I've done today. But she stands up and she says, I have had a child of my own. And unfortunately, one of our fellow associates his name is Paolo Antonio Marcucci. He is currently resting in my estate because he has befallen under some hunters that have taken ill to him. This, although he is my friend, is not enough for me to have called all of you together. No. What has happened between Friday and today is why I have brought all of you together. It seems that these hunters have taken to trying to finish what they started with our friend Paolo. Unfortunately, when they attacked my house, they did not kill Paolo, but instead they killed my child there. And in so doing, they have unfortunately sealed the fate of this city, as I was very much attached to her. This was my daughter, and the only thing I have left of her, and you see her hold out her hand, and there's a pair of fangs. And then she kind of closes it and holds it up to her chest. I want... And she stops herself. I need to bring down the person who let this happen in the first place. And that, my friends, is Geraldine Birmingham, the self-proclaimed Prince of Salem, who has done nothing for any of us gathered here in this warehouse. How less difficult would our lives be, I wonder, if her and her associates were no longer in power? How much more of the city could we split up amongst ourselves if her and her associates were no longer in power? I wonder how much more we could do with this whole cesspool of the citizens of the city if her and her associates were not involved. So I come to you, and she does a broad gesture of the group. as the first of what will be many who will join our cause. They have exiled us to this side of the river because they believe we will not be a threat to them. And this is where they have failed in the utmost possible way. And so I plan not to usurp the throne. That is not our way. I want to destroy it entirely. I want to destroy her entirely. And I want this city to stand as a beacon to all the others that where the Camarilla fails, the anarchs will rise to cleanse their mistakes. This will be the new Chicago. This will be the new New York. This will be the litmus test by which all other cities are going to be tested. I have called you in because I am serious about this path before us. So much so that I have called in every favor I have, and that has meant that I've had to make alliances with some people that you might take offense to. And as she says that, from the deeper darkness on the other side than you came in from, you see two gentlemen start walking towards the group. One of them is just this kind of small, older, balding, very kind of 5 o'clock shadow, tan skin, very Mediterranean looking, almost Greek. And the other is this very young, almost kind of orange-haired, curly-topped semblance of, this classic Greek proportions of heroism. Tall, musculature, muscled, chiseled. And they walk over. She introduces the old man as Gustav Vladikov Orston. And she introduces the young man as soon as I can find it, Werner Hertzfeld. And they both kind of nod. But immediately, Nikolai stands up and tosses the chair to the side. And he points at Werner Hertzfeld. This is a criminal to our people, Miss Morrison. I cannot work with someone like him if he is going to be involved. This man is a traitor to everything that my clan stands for.
Do I know who this is?
You don't.
I want to look. I want to go ahead and look at my sire, and I want to see what her reaction is to these two people.
Her eyebrow is arched. She is incredibly intrigued by what is happening.
Yeah, not in a bad way.
No. Like if she could, she would have popcorn in her hand.
Also, I feel the same.
Nikolai is distraught.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there something I can deduce by this distraughtness? Like what kind of distraughtness it is?
Oh, let's take a look at your character sheet.
Oh, the first roll tonight.
Yeah, boy. Let's have you do a resolve and awareness roll. So you have 2 and 2, so that's going to be 4 total dice. So you're going to have 3 regular dice and 1 hunger dice.
It's 8, 3, 1, and 3.
Okay. Is the 1 the hunger dice?
It doesn't. It can be, I guess.
Well, no. That's why you gotta make sure that your hunger
I have
dice.
to name. I have to
Yeah.
name the dice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay.
That's like.
Luckily, you have an 8 on your regular dice, so it only counts if there's no successes. From the from the shift in his posture and the violent way he knocked the chair aside, you can assume that something happened between the two of them in the past. Something has forced a bad blood between them.
By them, is he referring to the old man or the young man?
The young man. Him, Nikolai and Werner Hertzfeld have had some kind of issue in the past. And you can tell, because of the way he uses language, that Werner has to be another Semitsi.
Is there anything about Warner, like, on him that would give me more of an indication of who he is?
He is almost an oxymoron, because although he has this very kind of regal Germanic name, he's walking around in a kind of tracksuit and sneakers, whereas the old man is kind of very clean cut, very kind of meticulous look about him. Like if Charles Dance had dark hair, that's who Gustav would look like.
I want to go ahead. I whisper to Elizabeth. Since I'm saying, next to her, I go, is this a good thing that's about to happen right now?
Oh, she leans in and she's like, no, he's a good thing to have. And she points at the old man. That's a Ventru, one of the West Coast's Ventru that I thought had gone back to the old country. This is an interesting turn of events. The other man, I don't know. And I don't care. This, however, that he's kind of instigated, that I do care about. Because this is fucking interesting.
In the manner that she's feeling this, I take it as that old man is a person of interest for us, and in turn for me, and the other guy is just a person of interest only because it's entertainment at the moment for what's going on.
Correct. That's exactly how it breaks down for her.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But Yvette stands up, or steps between Nikolai and Warner, and she says, This is not the time to fight, my friends. I have brought you here because I need both of you. And Nikolai again steps away. And he's like, I will not help this traitor. I will, if he is to stay and be part of this plan, it will go forward without my assistance. And Yvette kind of looks at him. Are you sure you want to go down this route, my old friend? He looks at her for a moment. And then almost...
Can I talk to him?
Sure. You want to pull him aside?
Yeah, really quick. Before he says something stupid.
Okay.
I have a feeling that he's going to say something stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you two step off to the side.
Okay. What do I call him?
I mean, Nick, old man, Nikolai.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's no real titles between the two of you.
Gotcha. What are you doing?
I will not participate in anything that has that man involved.
Why? Who is that?
That is Werner Herzfeld. Is a traitor to our people. He is the one responsible for having given away the secrets of our clan to those infernal blood mages. He is also the man responsible for turning my child against me.
Oh. That sucks. Listen. We might need these people's help later on. So I think we need to play nice.
He looks at them for a moment before turning back to you. He's like, I will leave you here as my emissary then.
Fine.
Fine. This is our compromise then. And he steps back over to the group. He's like, I cannot bring myself to work with this scumbag, as they say in these days. And you see the woman that came in last kind of scoff a laugh and then control herself. He's like, but that shouldn't stop us from moving this plan forward, Miss Morrison. I leave my child there as my emissary. And she will represent me in all things. Good day to all of you. It was a pleasure to see some of you again. And
So petty.
yeah, oh yeah. And he starts to walk away. And Kenny,
I sit back down,
yeah,
I guess.
Kenny, you see your sire nod as she follows him out a ways, and then she turns back to the group, and she leans into you. She's like, "Yeah, I didn't see that coming. That's an interesting turn of events."
Are you leaving as well?
I mean, not unless I'm asked to.
Good. I'm glad. I need one person here.
Yeah. And so, as that happens, you see the old man step forward. Very well. So, now that the rest of us are engaged in this endeavor, I have been promised 2 agents to be our runners, for lack of a better word. Am I to assume that this is going to be the youngest of us? And he kind of looks from Mustang to Eric and back again.
I look over at Elizabeth.
She nods.
I nod back at her, and I step forward towards him. It would be my honor, sir.
Excellent. He sees your hesitance, and he's like, "Is there an issue?"
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, she wasn't hesitating. I was hesitating.
Okay.
I would be honored to help in this endeavor.
As you say that, you hear a very loud engine roar to life outside, and then the screechiest of tires as he drives off in the biggest huff you've ever seen him have.
Wow.
Yeah.
I look over at Elizabeth, I go, and whisper,
Yeah, she nods very discreetly.
Did he slam the door on the way out too?
No, because it is literally an open, like, hangar door.
so he can't. He's
So,
like,
yeah.
He passes by, hits the chains because he's like walking out.
Yeah. Makes it look like he fell over, and he's just like, this will teach them. But yeah. The old man comes over, hands, or just places, rather, a briefcase between the two of you. He's like, this should be enough to get you started. Going to need some eyes and ears inside Salem proper. I don't care what you do, how you do it, but you'll need to start working your way into the actual Camarilla. I think we need to bring down this anthill as termites do. Burrow in, and when you found her, we killed the queen.
Erickson slowly creeps and starts smiling from ear to ear.
No.
And I glance over at Mustang to see your reaction.
Mustang takes the briefcase.
Yep. It's not heavy, but it does have heft to it.
Oh. So, are we to be partners?
Yes. I will require the two of you to work in some form of tandem. Ideally, I assume, given your lineage, that the two of you could be a very powerful instrument in our plan moving forward.
And considering that she picked up the briefcase, I go, it's probably better in your hands than in mine. I do more of the talking.
She nods.
This will work.
Very well. Excuse me. There is a file folder aside from the startup capital that I've offered you. It has all the information, phone numbers, addresses, drop-off spots for any and all information you gather as you are working the city. I suggest your first course of action is to find out who's behind the murders on the riverfront. We need to know if he's a rogue agent or someone that has a bone to pick with Geraldine. Either could be turned to our cause, and either could be a blunt instrument if it need be.
Seems easy enough.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do we get a car?
Don't you have a car?
Do I have a car?
Didn't he leave in the car?
He did leave in
He
the
took
car.
the car.
He took the car.
I'm assuming I drove him there.
Yeah.
So he
left
drove
my
away. I look over at Elizabeth. Liz, can you spot us the car?
She looks at the old man. I have you know that it is not a great vehicle, but it is something that has gotten me around, and I've gotten very attached to it.
We'll need something fast.
And he looks at her, and a very faint smile comes over his lips and then vanishes almost as instantly. And he's like, "Of course, your reputation precedes you, Miss Barrister. I'm well aware of how you've come to create your fortune." And you see him pull out a checkbook out of his coat pocket. He writes down a number and signs it and hands it over to her. She looks at it, she nods at him, and she tosses you the keys.
Oh, that's a lot of... In my head, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money for her to be okay with the fact that I have her car right now.
Yeah. But let's see if Erickson can catch these keys. So let's have...
Oh, yeah, because,
Yeah.
You know.
Let's have you make a dexterity and athletics check. So that's going to be 4 dice. So 3 regular dice and 1 hunger dice.
Davying.
She tried to intercept.
Do you want to try to intercept the keys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's probably not a good idea.
Make a wits and athletics check then for you.
All right.
It's also going to be 4 dice for you, and it's 3 regular and 1 hunger dice.
Okay, so hunger dice is 10,
Nice.
2 6s, and a 2.
Okay, so 3 successes.
Hunger dice is 10, 7, 5, 5.
2 successes. You try to kind of see where the arc is and intercept it, and you just misjudge it. It's very slight, but you do see that she kind of shoots her hand out a little too late in the arc, and the keys do still end up in your hand, Eric.
After I grab it, I look over at Mustang. Hey, trust me, I'm not a driver. And I hold my hand out with the keys in it towards Mustang.
She takes it.
There you go.
Okay.
Now, if you don't mind, I'll keep a hold of the briefcase while you're driving.
Fine.
All right.
Splendid.
And the old man claps his hands together, and he's like, "Very well. The start of a very effective coterie, I hope."
Fingers crossed.
Now, if you'll excuse the rest of us, I believe you have work to do, and so do we.
I want the first thing that I think of is is there any phone in this place?
Not visibly, no. But there was a payphone a block down.
Blocked down?
Yep.
I look over at Elizabeth. Would you like for us to drop you off anywhere before we head out?
He's like, "No, No, there's plenty of vehicles here, and I think I have some people I want to talk to.
And we'll be off then?
Keep in touch.
I nod. I look over at Mustang. We need to get to a phone.
Okay.
So there's a one from a block away. So while I just start walking
Okay.
towards, because it's only a block, so it's not too crazy. And to the payphone, I actually want to use one of my contacts.
Ooh, who do you want to use?
So I don't know how reliable this criminal is going to be. But considering that he is a criminal, I want to know if he has any information regarding that murder on the riverfront.
Okay.
While he's doing that, can I open the briefcase to find the file?
Yeah. Opening the briefcase reveals a heavy manila folder sitting on top of what looks to be maybe like 25 grand. And there's also a M1911 and an extra clip beneath the folder between the money and the folder.
With him right now? I'm with him.
No, he walked off to the payphone. You're at the car.
Oh. Okay. Can I open the folder?
Yeah. The folder has a bunch of paperwork, stuff for kind of keeping tabs. There's a few blank kind of template stuff there, but there's also like information on kind of like dossiers almost on 3 specific people. One is Geraldine Birmingham. The other is Aisling McGinty. And then the last one is for Samuel Hunter. Samuel C. Hunter.
Anything else?
Each of the pictures that are associated with the dossiers, on the back there's a very stylized kind of drawing to kind of show you what clan they are. Geraldine has a rose. Aisling has an anarchist symbol. And Samuel...
Is that what is that?
That's Bruja.
That's Bruja.
Bruja.
Yeah. And Samuel has what looks to be a very intricate kind of pool from the look of it, but it has a spider web running through it. So you're not exactly...
Do I know what that is?
You're not exactly sure what it is.
Okay. So a spider in a pool.
Yeah, spider web.
In the dossier, does it say if Aisling or Samuel are alive?
Oh yeah, they're vampires.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if I was looking at dead people.
No, the word primogen is very prolific when referring to the Aisling and Samuel.
Okay, so they're part of her court.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Is there anything that jumps out?
Samuel's dossier looks like it's been handled by an exorbitant amount of people. There's no through line on a single writing style, and there's actually a few pages that are written in crayon.
That's weird.
Yep.
Can I look at the pages written in crayon?
Sure. There's a. It looks like it's a collection of poetry. Some of it looks to be Shakespeare's sonnets. Some of it looks like Robert Frost. There's a couple of lines of E. E. Cummings. And the pages don't follow the standard left to right, top to bottom. It's like the poetry has kind of been forced into a very different kind of
Visual structure.
yeah.
And she's able to. I'm able to understand that, I guess.
I mean,
This is not how it's written usually.
no, not at all.
Okay.
Especially because both of them, if you hold them up to each other, one in each hand, the way the colors have been chosen and the lines have been written, the pages look like two eyes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it look like it's been written by an adult?
It looks like it may have been written by an adult trying to feign childhood, or just a really advanced child.
Is there anything particular about the words?
To have you make a intelligence and academics roll.
How many?
So that's going to be 3. So 2 regular, 1 hunger.
Hunger's at 5, 1 and 6.
Hunger's a 5, 1 and 6 on the regular. There's a couple of interesting sentences that you pick up on as you're scouring over this document. There's notes intermingled with the poetry because there's words that don't belong in any of the poems, like dichotomy. There's schizophrenia. There's personality disorder. There's a lot of scientific terms intermingled with the poetry as you start to really look into it.
Could it be some kind of code?
If it is, it's gonna have to really be looked at. Like, you're gonna have to start to scour the poetry on the paper and find the actual poems themselves, so you can see where one ends and the other begins.
Right. So check this out later.
Yeah. Kenny, the phone rings and your contact answers. He's like, "Hello?"
Yep. Hey, Muggs. It's Eric the Red.
Oh. Yeah, what can I do for you, man?
Look, I just want to make it short and sweet.
Okay.
You heard about the craziness that happened over in the riverfront. Am I right?
Oh, yeah. It's been going on since February.
Oh, okay. So, what about the murder that just happened recently over there?
I mean, which one of the two? Talking about the one with the riverboats, or the one before that?
Yeah, let's go with both. What happened with the first one?
I mean, the first one, same MO, Guy looks to have been mauled by some kind of animal. At least that's what the newspapers say. But, you know, I have it on good authority that the guy kind of matches the first murder. You know. You know, the big word that they use is exsanguinated. That means he doesn't have any blood in his system. That's...
Yeah, I know what that means, Muggs.
All
Come
right.
on, give me some more information.
All right. Well, you know, the first one happened about the beginning of the week, the beginning of the last week. You know, they found them face down in the river.
So did they?
Completely naked.
Was there anything? Completely naked.
Yeah.
All right. Did they say, besides the fact that the blood, they were you know, that fancy $2 word that you have now?
Yeah, $10 word.
$10 word, $20 question. Anyway, besides the blood that's been taken out of him, and the fact that he was naked, there was nothing else strange about this guy.
No, it fit the MO of the previous murders. You know, attacked, quote unquote, naked, floating in the river.
Nothing special about this guy.
Nah. The last one was on Friday. That guy was. You hear him shuffling through some paperwork, and he's like, "Here we go." He's a security guard at one of the dockyards for the riverboat tours. This is where it gets weird because he was also, you know, and I use the term loosely, attacked by an animal, as the newspapers report it. But he was also exsanguinated, and you hear him really delight in the word the second time that he uses it. And he's like, but this guy had like all his clothes on, and he wasn't robbed or anything. Like,
what was the guy's name?
oh man, let me see. I gotta look for a different newspaper for that. I don't think this one has his name. It says Gunther something.
Gunther something.
Gunther Hoyle. There it is. Gunther Hoyle. Yeah, they found him. They found him with his dog. Luckily, his dog wasn't killed. It's just, you know, poor thing.
Wait. So the security guard at the docks with his dog?
Yeah. The dog was in his. And I'm just reading the newspaper here, but the dog was in his little like hut, I guess is what it's called, where they hang out.
No, I get that you're reading the newspaper, but you haven't heard anything around. I mean, out of this, I know that he's a criminal, so he's got to have some kind of. I'm trying to find out if he has some kind of connection.
He looks. You hear him kind of like shuffling things around, and he's like, "Look, I got some of the IDs came in a couple weeks back from some of the people, some of the first victims, but I didn't want anything to do with it, man. Like that has bad mojo all over that."
You know that I'm good on my promises, right?
Yeah.
You know that I keep, you know, you're good to me, I'm good to you. Am I right?
Yeah, of course. Look, the guy that brought it in, I can give you his name, and he normally hangs out, you know, at the Last Call bar, so you can try to find him there. Okay. Yeah, no, but his name is Chad. Chad Jacobs.
Chad Jacobs.
Yeah.
Goes to that bar all the time?
He's there most of the time. If you can't find him by that name, some people call him the Fish.
What does he look like?
Oh my God, he is. How do you not insult somebody when you describe them? Like, the guy looks like a rat. All right, he's got this kind of pointy nose, these sunken eyes, dark messy hair. Always kind of like rubbing his hands together, like he's fucking coming up with some devious plan. Like, the guy creeps me out. But he brings in stuff, you know. He fishes stuff up from the river.
All right, I get you, Muggs. I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. I'll talk to you.
All right. And he hangs up.
I go ahead and I start walking towards back to the car.
Okay.
And by that time, I don't know if I'm seeing Mustang already going through the files still.
Yeah. I would assume that the dossier on Samuel Hunter is something that I would think most people would find fascinating. Just the way the paperwork changes. As far as like the script is concerned, the kind of paper too, like it's not just computer paper, like it's not a dossier that's been printed out, like it is handwritten. So you have 3-hole punch like college ruled, you'll have wide ruled, you have legal pad paper.
So it's safe to say that different people were working on this.
Yeah, like graph paper, napkins.
And what was the weapon?
It's an M1911. It's a .45 caliber handgun.
But I have it, right?
Yeah. If you take it.
You should have this.
I look at her. As Mustang is bringing that out, I reach out for my book, and I open the book down the middle, and I take out the actual revolver that's inside the first half of that book that's been hollowed out.
Yeah.
I go, here. Each of us have to at least have this. Each of us have to at least have one. But I'll take that.
She opens her jacket, her cloak, and you see 2 handguns, and like a bunch of throwing knives, like strapped to her legs. I'm good.
You see, that's why I thought you were the bronze of this operation. And there's a center. I'll go to the center console if there is one, and I'll literally just put the. Oh, I know the car enough, so there's a center console.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna literally put the revolver in there.
Yep.
I'm just gonna put the other gun inside the book that I have.
The 1911 is a little big for the slot that you've carved out. I'm assuming that the gun you have in the Bible is like a 38 special.
It was a snub nose.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it was just enough for close range, but this is a lot better.
Yeah. So the M1911 is a little bit longer in the barrel, so it's not gonna really fit.
Okay. And I say, man, I really despise just having this weapon out in the open, but I go ahead and I just open the glove box.
Yep.
That's in front of me, and I'll just put the 1911 in there.
Okay.
For now. And I see over the dossier. What have you found out so far?
Wait a minute. I have a question. Does
Sure.
he know my name? And
No,
I know
you have
his?
not. You have not
No,
introduced
we don't know
each
each
other.
other's names.
You have not introduced each
No.
other.
Not at all. Cause fuck names. We're in the middle of a mission here. We'll talk about names later.
I want to meet you though.
No,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I found if you tell me your name.
How rude of me. And I put out my hand
Mhm.
and I'd say, Erickson Wood.
Pleasure. My name is Mustang. She doesn't grab your hand.
Okay. I put my hand back. I go, that's more efficient that way. No need to reveal yourself. Mustang, we're partners for now. Uh, what I
Sounds like
found,
it.
yeah, what I found is, I think our next lead on my end would be to go to a place, to go to the Last Call bar. Have you been to there before?
Yeah, a couple times.
Have you ever seen anybody that looks like a rat?
Have I ever seen anybody that looks like a rat?
Everybody at the last call looks like a fucking rat.
Everybody at the last call looks like a fucking rat.
You know that
Yeah, but
the last call is one of the few bars in Salem, one of 3 that actually is open all night, and it's because it's owned by a bruja.
So I would know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
The bruja that owns the last call is, as soon as I find her, Samantha Crushing. She's Camarilla,
mm,
but she's also one of the few spots that you know of is considered neutral territory, like her bar.
I figured.
Cause she and Yvette Morrison are friends. Like they go back.
No, I know they're all rats, but I'm saying this guy looks like a fucking rat. Pointy nose, narrow eyes, hunched back, like he, you know. All I'm saying is that that's who we're looking for. They call this guy
What's his name?
the fish. Chad Jacobs. Sounds like a fish. So.
Do I know? Do I find any of this familiar?
Let's find out. What merits do you have? Oh, you're beautiful. You do have a contact named Curly. Oh no, that's back in Boston.
No.
That's back in Boston.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's have you make an intelligence and awareness check to see if you remember anyone fitting. Actually, no, streetwise to see if you remember anyone fitting that description. So it's going to be 6 total, so 5 regular and 1 hunger.
Hunger is 8.
Okay.
9, 2, 7, 6, and 9.
Okay. So yeah, there's a
I know
couple.
that guy.
There's a couple of people that once he like gives you the description, you're like, there's 2 people that match that kind of are low key scumbags as far as like the bar is concerned. One you've heard is they refer to him as Meatbag, because he will put anything in his body to run it from state to state. Yeah.
He's a mule.
Yep. The other guys, they call him the fish because he's not afraid to go into the river, regardless of whatever temperature it's at, to fish up whatever treasure he believes is kind of there.
I've seen both of these individuals,
Yeah.
so I could recognize them if we bumped into them.
Oh, for sure.
Cool.
You've had to pick up stuff from Meatbag,
Got you.
and you've also bought some stuff from the fish for Nikolai.
Okay, so Yeah, there's about 2 guys that fit that description. The fish. I think I know the fish, and I definitely know like a meat bag. We call him meat bag because he's a meat bag. You know.
Because he's a
Nah,
meatbag.
let's rewind that. Let's go to the first one, the fish. I think that's exactly who I'm looking for.
Great. Do you want to go?
Oh, most definitely. But tell me what you got there, though.
Sure. So we've got folder. We got 25K in cash.
Oh, okay.
We got that gun that you just stashed.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got 3 dossiers on Geraldine. Oh shit, what's her last name? Doesn't
Birmingham.
matter. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Geraldine Birmingham, Ashling McGinty, and Samuel C. Hunter.
Now, I know that McGinty that's the Bruja, right?
That's the Bruja
Yeah.
Primogen, yeah.
Yeah. So I would have an understanding of who that person is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
And then
her and Elizabeth do not get along.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I know that when it comes to her, you're gonna be dealing with her, not me. Okay, and then I look over as I'm looking at the dossier. I see the crayon writing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
go,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and who's the crazy person in this one?
No idea. This was found in Samuel C. Hunter's file. Which, by the way, do you know what this symbol is? And it's the symbol of the spider.
The spider web in the pool.
The spider web in the pool.
Yeah.
Would I know?
Yes, because you and Elizabeth deal with them on a basis. That is the Malkavian clan symbol.
Oh, Malkavians.
Who are they?
Well, let's just say that when my lead, depending on where my lead goes, I think Hunter's the next bet.
Alright then.
I'm ready to get the hell out of here and start and have you bust some skulls while I try to knock some sense into them.
She gets into the car.
Okay.
And so do I.
Okay.
Obviously. And off we go.
So you drive off and you get to the big bridge that separates West Salem from Salem proper, and there's a kind of electricity that permeates the car as you are now in it. Like before, all the trips across the river were out of necessity to do business. Now you are going to be the agents of chaos. You are going to be the people that bring down the established order of things, and that is a very different feeling. And as you pull up to the last call bar, you can see the rowdiness of it. You can hear it. As you get out of the car, you can even smell some of it. The music is thumping. The atmosphere, even though it's about 1:30, almost 2 o'clock in the morning, it is still going on, and it will be going on for some time. But as Erickson gets out and starts making his way in to the bar, Mustang, you see in the distance across the street and down to where you can see a couple of riverboats have been dry docked for repair. There's a set of 3 cats. One of them is plump and kind of long and looks to be the eldest of the group. Another one is lithe and thin, and then there's a third one that kind of looks to be in that nebulous area between kitten and full-grown cat. They are incredibly adorable to any sane person that appreciates cats. I can give you an actual description of each cat individually if you want.
Yes.
Okay.
Am I already losing Mustang to cats? Is this what's going on right now?
I think this is what's happening.
Oh no!
It's the kitties.
Wait, do I catch this at all as I'm walking in?
Hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Why are they so mesmerizing to me?
You notice that they are very observant of your arrival, and that although they've taken notice of the car and the people there, there's something nefariously intelligent about how they're keeping tabs on this bar. And it is something that kind of creeps you out for a second, because this isn't something cats would do. But there is an orange and a white tabby who is kind of like a little tiny tiger. There is a chocolate brown Maine Coon with deep honey eyes. That is the largest of them and looks to be the smartest. And where's the third one? And the other one is a gray furred, blue-eyed chartreuse. Or chartreuse.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
They're majestic.
They're beautiful. They're well cared for. And what draws your attention beyond that, other than they're really kind of intently looking at you, more so now that Erickson has kind of walked into the bar, is that you see what looks to be the shimmer of the air around them, almost like the predator shifting, and it moves away from you. And as it does, the cats kind of look in its direction and then follow along. Almost like 1, 2, and then the little kitten kind of looks in your direction a little bit longer than it should, and then it starts to follow along with the rest of the troop.
Okay, that was weird.
Yeah.
And I don't notice her at all as that stayed behind as I walked in.
No. The second you walk in, Samantha kind of looks over in your direction and she's like, "Hey, look at this asshole."
Hey, good to see you. How's it going?
Good. Bill, you know Eric, and you can see that the bar back behind the bar with her is this lanky, thin, kind of nerdy looking black kid with just these Coca-Cola bottle for glasses, this kind of kid and play flat top that is a year or so ahead of its time. But he kind of he waves over, he's like, yeah, I remember you. Vodka tonic, yeah?
No. just
Yeah.
no. And I walk over and I put my hand on his shoulder, and I say, "Look, every time you get my drink wrong, I'm just gonna start calling you Eraserhead. All right?
Okay.
So just get me whiskey, neat. I appreciate it, good sir."
Yeah.
Pat
Okay.
him, and I
Okay.
pat him on the shoulder a couple
Yeah.
times.
You see a towel, not a wet towel, but a towel just kind of comes crashing into his face from Samantha, and she slides around him and comes out, and she looks at you. She's like, "All right, so what do you need? Because you never come here for fun."
Huh, I can't just come by and say hi.
No, no, you and Elizabeth don't do that.
Yeah, you know me too well then.
No.
Uh, I'm actually looking for. I'm actually looking for somebody. I
Oh,
want to talk to him.
everybody's looking
You
for
know.
somebody these days.
Yeah.
Is this a
We're
girl?
still outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Do you wanna chase the
Right.
cats, or do you wanna go inside the
No,
bar?
no. I want to go inside the bar.
He's like,
Okay.
"You want to chase the cats?"
Okay. So yeah, so the as she kind of mentions, is it a girl? She starts talking about how you're not the first person to call in or come in asking about a girl. Um, but that
Girl.
that will have to wait for the next session.
What?
As yeah, as we have seen enough of the two of you, I think, and we will continue with Mustang trying to come into the bar, and Erickson having a question come up that he wasn't prepared for.
Yeah.
But I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in and coming and joining us for our game this evening. As always, please wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, and as always, check out any of the other channels that we are associated with. Be aware that if you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free as part of your package. And if you're trying to catch up on any episodes, you can catch us on YouTube. Wednesday, we will see you for Legend of the Five Rings. Friday, of course, is for Star Wars. And there is going to be a special one-shot at the end of the month where I will be running a mage game set in World War II on Saturday, March the 27th. So keep your eyes open for that. That's coming up. And as always, I know things are tough and they can feel overwhelming at times, but just know that if you are feeling down and you feel like no one is around, please try to reach out to get help from either family or friends. And if you can't get in contact with anyone, please do not be ashamed to seek professional help. There's no shame in getting help. We've all kind of had to deal with a lot in this last year, and we're still dealing with it, and we're going to be dealing with it, and it's opened up a lot of doors that were previously held closed. And so I urge you that if you have any friends that you have not checked in on, check in on them. A little bit goes a long way. And as always, I will see you guys on Wednesday for our Legend of the Five Rings, or I'll see you when I see you. But please take care of each other. Good night.